Hi guys, Yiannis Christodoulou here, 2019 European and National Aquathlon Champion, and today I'm going to talk about my top tips how you can train in the heat. Heat training. People can't avoid the heat, and if it's too hot outside, you can't avoid it. And what happens if it's on race day and you're not used to it, and you turn up and it's blazing hot? So what do you do? So here are some of my tips and what I've learned through my training and my races, and what I would tell people do. So my first tip would be is to make sure you are fully hydrated. Now this is the most common thing, is people do not drink enough water. So what you've got to do is drink more fluids. So it's important to drink more fluids, and the reason it's important is because it will stop the cramps. And when it's really hot, you need to drink more, because when it's really hot, you've got to drink because your body sweats a lot of it out. Now, one thing you've got to bear in mind when you do drink a lot of fluids, especially with you drink a lot of water, and I drink a lot of water, is that if you overhydrate, it could cause a problem. So especially if you're running a marathon and you overhydrate, you're washing out all the electrolytes, and therefore your body can go into shock and cause you could be very critically ill. So it's important that you hydrate, drink plenty of water, but also get them electrolytes in. So make sure you get them electrolytes. If it's like it could be anything like a squash drink, something like that, to help as well. And so that's my first tip. Now, training. Obviously you can't predict a race, so with training, how do you train around it? Well, I like to train in the heat, so I go out when it's blazing hot, midday or whatever, because I know that when races come, a lot of my races in the summer, and I know that I'll be prepared, and a lot of people struggle in the heat, and I just want to make sure I can do the best I can that day, but I wouldn't advise it. That's the thing. Like unless you again, as I said, you must fully hydrate, and you must be just make sure you're fully hydrated. And you've got to bear in mind, if you are going out, you need to go slower, so a lot slower, because you don't get fixed on pace, because the heat will slow you down, and it takes out you, and it slows down recovery. So if you're going out and say, for example, a zone 2 run, keep it in that zone. Don't look at the pace. Even if you're doing hard sessions, don't worry about the pace. It'll be slower. So you just need to keep at it, but just bear in mind and keep it a bit lower, so you don't get overheat and cause like heat stroke and things like that. So my advice would be is to go out when it's early morning. If it's going to be a really hot day, when it's cooler, that's a good time to go. It'll still be warm, and that'd be a good time to go. Late in the evening's another good time to go as well, and that will help as well. So pace may still be slower, but you're not dealing with like the heat. So that's another tip. I think if you are racing in extreme weathers, there people do go out in like heat chambers and stuff like that. It's important that you do go out. If you are going to do like a really tough race, and like for example like a desert, so you need to prepare for the heat. But you must take liquid on board with you if it's really warm, depending on how far you're going to go. Make sure you take like a hydration pack or something, just to be on the safe side, because you never know. And also, I find as well is when I train in the heat, I sweat a lot of salt, and probably same for you guys. Get stinging in the eyes because of the salt. So that's one thing you've got to remember. When it's hotter, you burn more salt out of you. So you need to. That's why it's important to get them electrolytes in. I say it's important as well when you get back to drink as well and have something to eat as well, because like you were doing all your training, just because you might be a bit dazed, and with the heat it can take it out of you big time. And if you do feel a bit dazed, just stop. Like you can get to a situation where you're starting to get a bit dazed and stuff, and then you could be on the verge of collapsing or fainting, so just stop. Don't push for it. Or you can just miss a training session. So don't go like, so the biggest mistake people make is that they get fixed on pace. I know I say a lot of my videos about pace. They get fixed on it and they don't realise that heat actually takes so much out of them. So it not only does it slow down your recovery, because if you're going too hard, so for example, say you're running in 30 degrees heat and you're running 7-minute miles, but a few days before you were running in 18 degrees heat, say for example 18 degrees, and you were running 7-minute miles in. Can you see a difference? So 12 degrees difference, that is a lot. Your body will get a lot warmer, works a lot harder because it will be sweating to keep the body cooler. So therefore, the problem is that you're overtraining. So you're going too hard. So that's why I always recommend training with a heart rate strap, so you know your zones, and then you can keep to them zones. So if you're training in zone 2, you would keep to that zone, and you would see that the pace will drop. I have it. A lot of people come up to me and say, "Oh, but I ran 8-minute miles yesterday, but I'm running 9-minute miles today." Yeah, because it's hotter. Also, you need to look at hydration, as we mentioned before. Hydration. If you don't hydrate, you can cause cramps, pins and needles in your legs, and of course you can collapse. So most common thing is cramps, and cramps can cause injuries as well if they get too bad. So a lot of people do not realise that, and you see it across the board. They go, "Oh, well, I drank loads," and then you say, "Well, what did you drink?" And they say, "Oh, I had 1 pint this morning, but I ran this afternoon." So that of water, sorry, and that's the sort of thing. So you just need to be a bit clever with your training, and just the more you go outdoor in the sun, the more you get used to it. But you get to know you know your body best, and you just have to slow it down. So you just have to know to slow it down. Remember, recovery takes a lot less in the heat. It takes a lot longer in the heat. So you need to just make sure that you get the recovery as well. So these are some of my tips and some of my advice, what I've learned. Please subscribe to the channel, comment if you've got any tips. Thanks for watching, guys.
And the champions of this age group category, Henrietta Parasavic and Yiannis Christodoulou. Christodoulou.